not interesting in any way. Her husband is about the most boring person I've ever met. The job was dull and boring. Dead, incredibly, terribly, etc. Boring equals very boring. Thesaurus. Boring, not interesting in any way. A boring speech. He found school incredibly boring. Not very interesting, not before noun, very ordinary and therefore rather boring. People often use this phrase in everyday English. Instead of saying directly that something is boring, the story wasn't very interesting. Dull, especially written boring. The conference was usually a dull affair. Life was never dull. Tedious, very boring and continuing for a long time. The process was tedious and slow. Jake began the tedious task of sorting through his papers. Monotonous, boring and always the same. The work was monotonous and unchallenging. He was only half listening to the monotonous voice of the teacher. Mundane, rather boring, because it is connected with things you do regularly as part of your daily life. He busied himself with the mundane task of cleaning the house. Most arguments are over mundane issues like spending or saving money. Humdrum, usually before noun, boring because nothing new or interesting ever happens. He wanted to escape his humdrum life. A humdrum existence. Dry, a subject, piece of writing, etc. that is dry is boring because it is very serious and does not contain any humor. The students complained that the lecture was dry and uninspiring. A dry academic volume.